everything I read before May is just like not in this video, not on my Goodreads, because I have no idea what I read before that, okay, so that is not included. However, that being said, I think I read about 50 to 60 books then last year, but whatever. I tried to give myself a bit more of a challenge. So for 2024, I'm trying to read 75 books, which I'm already scared about because I'm already not reading as much as I should be. So we will see. However, let's rate these books from last year, and then we'll see about next year, okay? But do tell me how many books you read this year. Should in general be something you can enjoy and that is for you and for you only. So do not feel pressured to read a lot of books. Go at your own pace. I can't talk today, and it'll be fine. So anyway, this will be a long ass video considering I'm already on 4 minutes. So grab a little drink. I'm already being unhealthily in the new year and having an energy drink, but at least it's sugar free, so we'll see. But grab a drink, get really comfy, and let's go. Okay, so I pray to God that you can see my screen now and that everything worked back for me, okay? So here you can see the tiers I made for my books this year. So on top, for the best of the creme de la creme, we have a 12 out of 10, loved it. Then just underneath that, we got big fan for the books that are just like really amazing, but they don't hit that all-time favorite level. Do you know what I mean? Like the red ones, 12 out of 10, they're like all-time faves. Like I have to have a physical copy. I will reread those. Like big fans can't shut up about it, okay? And then big fans are like really great books, but not like my yearly highlights. Then we got Good Time but Forgettable. To be fair, I was quite surprised going through all these books in preparation for this video because I could not remember I even read them. So that's kind of for those books, the ones that are enjoyable, but I'd have already a really hard time recalling what the books were actually about. So that is the tea for those books. You know, I don't know, just for the forgettable ones. I don't know, they're still good, you know, but forgettable. Then I got For the Right Reader, which is the tier for the books where I can honestly appreciate that they are good books and that some people can like them or would like them, but they're just not for me personally. Then we got Meh, which is self-explanatory. They're just nothing special, just not giving anything. That's for that. And then the last tier, and we'll see if I put any books in that, but I have a favorite that might go in there, is I Got the Egg. That books I'm gonna get very passionate about because I have so many hatred over these books, okay? If I go to hell, I take these books with me so no one can read them. That's the deal for that, okay? All jokes, all love, you know, I'm sure the authors aren't people. Writing books is hard, okay? But these books just really gave me the ick. So I really wanted to go by order that I read these books in, because I haven't really thought about where to put any of these beforehand, so I kind of just think that's the way I'm feeling the most. So the first book in my Goodreads, that is on my Goodreads that I know I read in 2023 is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. Now, I did really enjoy this book. Cool storyline, nice fantasy set up. It starts a little slow in the beginning, lots of word building. It's about this girl that's basically held as a purity maid or whatever. And she kind of falls in love with that guard, and then was a lot of like introducing the world, a lot of like angst, a lot of character development on the main character's part, and the main like enemies to lovers part. So I say I was a big fan. I think I could also put it in good time but forgettable, but I think it deserves to be in big fan. Yeah, I did really like it. I would recommend reading it. But then after that, I don't know. We'll see. The next book I read in order is A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, which is book 2. Now, again, book 1 kind of really sets up the world. Book 2 starts to get into the story a lot, and I don't even know what happened anymore. I can tell you like a brief overview, but there was a lot of spicy stuff. There was a lot of war scenes and magic. I don't know. It all came out of the woods, so I'll put it in good time but forgettable. Yeah, because it's like I cannot tell you anymore what actually happened. I do remember that I did actually kind of enjoy the story setup to the second book. So first and second book I thought were really good, and then I read the third book, which is The Crown of Gilded Bones. Again, Jennifer Armentrout. And here I had a really, really hard time. These books are chonkers, okay? They're huge, massive books. I think this book has like 600 pages. And it felt very repetitive. I could see all the plots coming up. I don't know, I put my e-reader away and then didn't read for weeks, and then picked it up again, read a few chapters, didn't pick it up for weeks, and it's just kind of how I know I'm not fully invested in the story. And if you look at my Goodreads, okay, I started this book somewhat in January, and I finished it in May, okay, so it took me 5 full months to on and off read this book. So it just kind of really slowed down for me in that book. I didn't even pick up the 4th, or I think now the 5th one is coming up. I just didn't pick them up, so I'll put this in for the right reader, because I do think I just didn't particularly enjoy it, but I think the right person would really enjoy this book. And it's not quite met yet, okay, but it's also not the best time. I didn't have the best time reading it, okay, so I'll put it in that. And then my book journey kind of really began. This was also the start of me making book ASMR videos. So I read The Love Hypothesis next by Miss Ellie Hazelwood. Now, I love Ellie Hazelwood. Love her. And also the main character in this book is a biologist, which I as well, so you know, 12 out of 10. I love this book. It's kind of like really, after these like meh books, it really picked up my love for reading again. I was like really getting into it. I was so excited. I started reading so many more books. So yeah, great start, and this is why my season of reading really kicks off. Now, this book, ooh, I try not to get into a full-on rage here, but we have 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. Now, this book deserves the award for my most hated and most disappointed book of the year 2023. This book made me really, really angry. I could have thrown it against the wall, but then decided for better and immediately sold it to someone else because I didn't want to have it in my bookshelf anymore. Yeah. Again, this book made me very angry. We kind of follow this a love story of these like 12-year-old kids, literally, and they like likes adventures, but she literally never goes anywhere. She's never been anywhere, she doesn't do anything, nada. But she constantly says she likes adventures and she isn't like other girls, and ooh, my blood. I was on like 150 of reading this book. I could not finish it. I DNF'd it in like 75%, 80%, something like that. God, no. And again, I don't want to spoil this for the people who would like to read this book. I wouldn't advise, but you do. But yeah, it's talking about a very personal, sensitive topic, and it isn't even like at all. I don't know. So I've had personal experience with that topic, and I get so angry about the writing and presentation of that topic. I feel like it misrepresents an entire community of people. I feel like it misrepresents how terrible that is actually happening. And yeah, it's really glorifying and terrible book. No joke. I'm really angry at this book. But whatever, my opinion, you can love this book if you do love it. I've heard a lot of good things about it that I don't understand, but yeah, this is going in the category I got at the egg. If I could burn one book in the world, it might be this one. Again, maybe one day I'll forget the trauma this book gave me, but until then, I'll hate this book with a passion. And I actually mean that. Like, I really don't want to be mean to any authors, because again, it's a lot of work to write a book, but I like my heart, my blood, my everything boils when I think about this book. Like, no. Okay, next. I read My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. Now, this is about a girl who finds a dead body in her vacation rental, and then kind of works with the broody detective on finding the killer. Now, this is very like sunshine, ex-grumpy, lot of spice. So much so that I thought it was too much spice, and like very little plot, which I found quite annoying because I was there for like a romance sidekick on a nice little mystery. So I think this is really for the right reader. I expected different things from this book, so I couldn't fully enjoy it because I was kind of waiting for a great like Agatha Christie mystery going on that has like a slither of love, and it just didn't give that. It was more like a vacay romance with a lot of spice, which I wasn't prepared for. Okay, so not the biggest fan here. Okay, next, just getting this out the way, but I was very influenced by TikToks in the beginning of my newfound reading journey. I used to read a lot in my childhood, but then during university it kind of fell off. But I really picked it back up. But yeah, I was really very inspired by TikTok, and let's just say I don't think a lot of the TikTok books are really my jam. So I kind of had to start finding my own way afterwards, but whatever. So yeah, the next book I read was, let me find it, A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. Now this is a Hades x Persephone retelling set in like a modern city. Now I don't know if this is supposed to be like dark romance or whatever, but it's not very dark. Let's just get that right off the bat out of the way. It was a good time, but forgettable. I will say more to that. But yeah, good time, but forgettable. I kind of almost can't remember half the story. The first book was really the nicest of the series. is the second book. But yeah, it just kind of really fell off after A Touch of Darkness, A Touch of Rune, honestly. I don't even know what it was about. There was just a lot of useless sex scenes that, I don't know, they had no reason to be in the story, and like, it didn't make any sense, and there was no character development. Also, Persephone was really cool in book 1, and then in book 2 she got really annoying, and it was kind of like useless and no plot really. There's just nothing happening. So yeah, really for me, didn't fully enjoy it. So I read a little book in between, which was Below Zero, by Ellie Hazelwood. It's one of her little stem nest novellas. It's just like a small book of 3 novellas, each like 150 pages. But this one follows, I don't even know the name anymore. Follows, I think she's an engineer or something. Anyway, it's kind of like a workplace romance, whatever. It's just a really short romance. A good time, but forgettable. You can tell. I can't really recall a lot from this story anymore. I like everything Ellie Hazelwood writes, but I think in comparison to actual full novel, like to actual full books, the novella is kind of weak, because she really thrives off a lot of character development and talking about problems and stuff. So this is just purely a quick little romance. No like traumas or like stereotypes or social problems that the book works through. So purely romance. Now, next was, we all know, the book of the books in 2023. I don't know. I think you lived under a rock if you haven't heard of this book yet. I don't know what you're doing. But yeah, I read A Fourth Ring by Miss Rebecca Yarros. So it's about this dragon rider school that Violet, the main character, goes to, and yeah, it's kind of like graduate or die, high stakes, a fantasy with dragons and a little sub-romance plot. Now, I really love this book, okay? No one is surprised. I was a big fan. I loved the characters, I loved the world setting. I think it was a really great book. I was super excited about it. I was reading that so fast. I think I read it in like 4 or 5 days. Goodreads says I read it in 3 days. So there you go. Yeah, I think, I don't know if it was per se my favourite book of 2023, but it was definitely up there. So it is going to the 12 out of 10s. Love it. Again, really enjoyed Fourth Wing. And I did read Iron Flame, but later on, as we all know. Alright. Next up, I read The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Now, this was another huge TikTok favourite book. It's about this girl who inherits all of the money from a very wealthy millionaire, and to inherit the money she has to live with his sons for a month, I think, or for multiple months. I can't even remember. And the house is like full of riddles and secret passages and stuff. But I really didn't like this book. I thought the plot was really flat. The puzzles weren't really like any mysteries or anything. There wasn't any plot twists. I don't know if I missed them. Like, everything I already thought was happening because it got introduced so early in the story. Then there's kind of a lot of characters, so the second a side character gets mentioned, you know they get relevant at some point in the story. second, you know, the girl describes how she's walking through this corridor and she sees something on the side of the corridor or whatever, you know it's going to be relevant later on when she like finds something there. So I don't know, I already knew basically everything that was happening, and then I thought the characters were so flat. They have no personality. We know nothing about our main character other than she grew up poor. That's like it. That's the only personality she has. There's nothing going on. There's even supposed to be like a romance subplot that I heard like none of it. It was so awkward. It was so weird. There's no actual romance. It's more like a crush, a kid crush, but like not really. It feels more like you know when you're like really young and you're playing in a group and you really want to impress the person you think is like the coolest in the group, like the hottest. I don't even know if it's called a crush yet, you know, because you're literally 12. But it kind of feels like that. It felt really childish, not really thought out. I feel like there was a lot of emphasis on the puzzles and stuff that weren't that good, that really like lost the rest of the book, like the rest of the plot and like the storytelling really got lost on that. So I'll put it into meh, because yeah, I don't know, it's not even forgettable to me. I would just like not reread it or anything, which also I read the second book. I don't know, I think I was hoping it would get better. It didn't. Again, it's the Hon Legacy second book, I believe. Yeah, just bland, boring, meh. I didn't even read the third book, even though I have it. I bought all three. But yeah, the fourth book just came out, and I will not be reading it, let's just say that. Now then, I was kind of like really sick of the big TikTok stuff, so I tried myself on a different genre, which is a dark romance. This is Ratched by Emily McIntyre, and it's a Never After novel. Never After is a series of books that are called like Fractured Fairy Tales, I believe. So each book can has a reference to a fairy tale, if you want to call it that. So Ratched can has a lot of references to The Wizard of Oz. Now, I've never seen or read The Wizard of Oz, so I didn't really pick up on a lot of the references, but generally I really like this book. Again, a dark romance, like I'd say dabble your foot into dark romance level. A lot of spicy scenes, definitely very morally black characters. We are following the daughter of a big drug lord and a undercover DEA agent that basically wants to infiltrate and ruin her family. And yeah, lots of spice, lots of dark scenes. She's literally killing people and stuff, so do be prepared. I did really enjoy this book, so I don't know, I wish I would have had to put a tier between big fan and good time but forgettable, because it's definitely not forgettable. I did actually quite enjoy it, so we'll put it into big fan. It did make me read more from this author. I started reading more from Emily McIntyre, which actually brings me to the next book that I read after that. It is Scarred, again, Emily McIntyre. This is a Lion King vibes. Again, more like greyish characters. I didn't like this book as much as Ratched. It's not the first one, but I didn't like it as much as Ratched. It follows this girl who's supposed to marry this prince, but the prince has like a dark brother and she kind of like falls in love with him, stuff like that. But there's like more stuff going on, like political stuff. Again, Lion King, so I think he, like the bad guy, is kind of supposed there's just kind of more tension and like more spice. Just kind of more of the tension of you knowing who they are, but they don't know, like, that they literally only opposing teams, you know. So yeah. Okay, next I read one of my personal faves of this year, which is Love in the Brain by Ellie Hazelwood. Again, I'm a Ellie Hazelwood stan. I love Ellie Hazelwood. And this is about a neuroscientist who starts a new job, and there's this colleague, this hot, tall, brooding colleague. This is kind of sunshine, grumpy, I feel like, maybe a little bit. Again, workplace, romance, smart STEM girlies. Big fan. She's really a character. She's really fun, really quirky. She likes a lot of pop culture stuff, and yeah, there's cool like little plot twist and just interesting like intrigue and stuff going on. And yeah, again, all her STEMness novellas are kind of a lot about women in STEM and problems they face, etc. So it definitely got a cool little political message in it. I do love her books, so 12 out of 10, love it. Love in the Brain is probably my absolute all-time fave from Ellie Hazelwood. I just really fell in love with the characters. Next up, it was released right after my love for Ellie Hazelwood began, is Love Theoretically. Again, Ellie Hazelwood. It follows theoretical physicist who wants to start a new job, but there's Jack, a experimental physicist, and they kind of have this feud going on. So it's kind of like, I think it's like a supposed enemies to lovers, but like not really. And funnily enough, like there's a lot going on in this book because she is like a date for friend. I don't know if you can say it like that. She's like a friend to a girlfriend, not in a sex way, but in a like a company way. And she is actually his brother's fake girlfriend. So there's kind of that adding to the plot. And this book also really follows on mental health issues, and I thought that was really well done. I really loved it. She's probably the most grown up out of the characters, but also the most like character developed. I don't know, like she goes through the most character development. And Jack, biggest green flag, like boyfriend love. He's amazing. You'll see if you read this book, but again, Ellie Hazelwood, instant 12 out of 10. I love this book. Next up, I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night by Carissa Broadbent. This is kind of a, I don't know, Twilight meets Hunger Games book. So it's about these games in this vampire world with different clans of vampires. I don't know, and my character is human and has grown up in this world of vampires, so she's quite the strong female lead. She's badass, and she goes into these games, in basically these Hunger Games, as a human fighting against vampires. Yeah, and there's a sub-romance plot once again, and I love this book. I thought it was really good. It's definitely another one of the highlight books I read in 2023. Big fan. I thought it was really nice. It was really well thought out, and like I really felt her desperation in the games, being like majorly overpowered by everyone else, and kind of her survival instincts and stuff. Thought it was really well written. So yeah, I loved it. Then I read the second one, which is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Now, syndrome, where the story kind of flattens out a little bit after like your initial peak high, because you have to start, like before it was very focused on the games and setting up the world around these games, but now you're in the open world, you have to set up so much more of a storyline. And for me, the book really suffered there. The romance that was going on before kind of started to have problems because it was now in the real world, and there was a lot of miscommunication, a lot of like weird dynamics going on. Like for the first half of the book, there's just like not a lot of things happening. It's a dual puff, which is my favourite. I'm not the biggest fan of dual puff because if it's a live thing, it's kind of like a lot of like miscommunication, and you can like feel it from both sides, and it's just so weird. I don't know. Again, still a good book. I don't want to discourage anyone from reading this, but it just wasn't as good as the first one for me personally. Again, I think second book syndrome, which is weird because it's only a duology, so I don't know. It just didn't have that constant adrenaline peak that the first book had, okay? Like the first book is very much a fourth wing, like you're constantly on a like insulin high. It's insulin adrenaline, sorry guys. An adrenaline high, there's like deathly situation, and then it kind of just like really flattens off. So yeah, it'll go into big fan. I did pick up a spin-off series. It's on my TBR for this year. Oops. So we'll see. Alright, and then I thought, I don't know what I thought, I would read the third book from the Persephone X Hades book, which is A Touch of Malice, again, Scarlet and Claire. Now this book was just, I didn't have this at like 8%, FYI. This book is a bit of a joke. Now it sets up a like rebellion in this book, and the whole series is kind of set up like a rebellion against the gods. But I don't know. Now this is hilarious. Okay, if you want to read the series, maybe skip over this. Okay, because me saying that, it's not really spoiling a lot, but like maybe like a little bit. So I don't want to ruin the fun for anyone. So skip now. But over the books, you know, Persephone, she's God. She kind of finds her godly powers. Hades, okay, we all know there's a moment there, we all know they fall in love, okay, whatever. Hades, we all know he's like a really huge god in the Greek world, okay. So, okay, in like 80% of this book, there's finally, in 3 books set this up, and there's nothing, not even a small thing happening, where it's like, oh my god, adrenaline, you know, and then there's a fight, okay, huge fight, huge attack on a lot of people, okay, and they fight for like 2 seconds, honest, I will not pick up the next books. I think it was kind of like a very slopey downfall. The first book's alright, the second's fun, and the third book is, I don't know, you may as well just not read it. So yeah, obviously I got the ick on that one. Okay, I don't know what the author thought she was doing there. I'm really not aware, but okay, next. By the way, if you hear rain, that might be because it's raining. The next book I read is These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. Now this follows Bree, I think she's called. What's her name? It might be Bree, I don't know. Sorry. I forget characters' names so quickly. Anyway, These Hollow Vows. So yeah, it's about this human girl who goes to the Feywild because her sister gets abducted by the Fey. And she has this opportunity to go to this Feywild because the prince of the Fey is holding a contest, like a selection vibe contest, the Bachelor but for fairies, to find his future bride. So humans are led into the fairy world and she goes over. However, in the fairy world there are two opposing fairy clans, fairy kingdoms. One's good, one's bad. Technically the prince is good, and then there's the other kingdom which is bad. And yeah, there's like a rebel group from that, and it's kind of a true love triangle, but not really, but kind of. So she gets in contact with the rebel leader from the Dark Kingdom. They're rebelling against the current king on the Dark Throne, basically. Okay. And she makes a deal that she needs to steal 3 things from the good kingdom to give to the bad kingdom, and then in exchange they'll help her find her sister. So yeah, a lot of world building, a lot of character building. Again, that love triangle thingy wasn't the biggest fan of it. I hate one of the guys with a passion. Yeah, so you can see our main character, you can obviously see the 2 love interests. Yeah, so it got a lot of archetype vibes, meets selection in the beginning, so I didn't overly enjoy the first book, to be honest. I'll give it a good time, but forgettable. It was a nice story setup, but I just didn't fully love it. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, but I ain't a quitter. I read the second book, the duology, which is These Twisted Buns. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's initial story setup where our main character is still very new to the land and she doesn't know everything. She's not used to the intrigues and stuff. The phase is really over. The first book starts to really pick up on the ending. It's got a lot of plot twists and a lot of intrigues coming, a lot of things going on, but they took a lot of time to set up, which makes the book 1 just a little forgettable. But book 2, in my opinion, was amazing. There are so many new characters that get introduced that you kind of just really fall in love with. It's really great. It doesn't have second book syndrome at all. It just kind of really got a very, very nice it kind of got a very nice storyline. Our main character starts to go badass. She is getting so much more comfortable with herself. She's finding her own powers. Wink wink nudge nudge. And second one, I would have definitely read it. So these Twisted Buns gets from me, actually, I'm surprised myself, okay? The 12 out of 10 love it tier. In my opinion, it was just actually really nice. I want to read more from this author. There's yet to be any more books for her, but I'm keeping my eye out because I'm really hoping, I'm praying there'll be a third book, but so far it's only a duology. The next book I read is Under One Roof by Ellie Hazelwood. Again, one of her novellas. It follows these two characters. I think she's like a environmental engineer, something like that. And they're forced to live in the same house. And again, these novellas kind of like have a very basic storyline. There's not a lot going on. So yeah, it's like a forced proximity roommate romance. Again, cute, quick, fun. I'll give it a big fan because it was probably my favourite of the novellas. I think the characters are really cute and the roommate trope just really works with me. I don't know what it is, so yeah, big fan. Okay, next, I really started to get into my audiobook game, and these audiobooks, big recommendation. The audiobooks are made absolutely amazingly. They got a lot of cool like audio features. They're really good. The book in general is really good. I listened to Harley Jackson's A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Now this follows a Pip who is a wannabe little detective. She investigates a murder that has happened in her city. And again, it's really good. It gives me that vibe of like a cozy crime mystery, you know, really to like scratch that Sherlock Holmes, Agatha Christie itch, like not too dark crime, just fun, youthy crime. Do you know what I mean? Like mystery crime, detective work. It really feels like one big like game. It's what Inheritance Games wants to be, okay? So I really loved it. The audiobook, absolutely amazing. Again, get your hands on these audiobooks. Sometimes they're available on Spotify. I don't know if that's sense because she makes a really big decision and I can't relate to that decision. There would have been such an easier way to solve the issue, and I don't think it fits her character that she chose that. I don't think it fits her cleverness she's shown in the first 2 books, that she chose that path. It makes absolutely no sense. I need to give so many spoilers if I'm getting more into it, but yeah, it just doesn't make any sense that she chose that way. It feels very rushed, an underdeveloped decision that's just made to continue the book in a direction I really didn't enjoy it was going, because yeah, I didn't really enjoy that. There was not a lot of sense to it, in my opinion. No one actually acts like that. Yeah, I didn't really enjoy it. So I'll give it I still gave it 3 stars on Goodreads, but the longer I think about it, the more I kind of don't think it's really worth 3 stars. Yeah, I know a lot of people loved it, but controversial here. Yeah, I just didn't really enjoy it. Again, I just really couldn't follow as to why this decision was made. It didn't really make sense to me for the cleverness she's shown before. So yeah. Alright, and now it's starting into September, so we're kind of in the midst of the year, at least of the year, that's recorded for me. So the next book I read was Happy Place by Emily Henry, and it follows the 2 main characters, or basically a 1 female main character, and she always goes to this cabin for her summer holidays with her friends. They always go to the same place, and it's just like a happy place, so it goes like that. And she goes with her friends group. Anyway, it's their last time going because the cabin is supposed to be sold, and she usually goes with her boyfriend. That's also part of the group. So they try to pretend to still be together for that last perfect holiday, and oh my god, it is such a good book. Emily Henry is an amazing writer. I love her books. I feel like she can go into a lot of detail of personal issues, personal development, and like getting older, big changes in your life that you weren't particularly expecting. So effortlessly, she does it so well without having any like crazy, unbelievable things happening in the book. And yeah, I just thoroughly enjoy it. Her characters are always so well thought out. Harriet and Wynne, I believe, if I remember correctly, I think I'm correct, are pretty much my favourite Emily Henry couple as of yet. Yeah, so big fan. It is a 12 out of 10. Love it. I always say I'm a big fan, so I technically should have renamed this tier to something else, but yeah, great book. Really recommend. It's probably one of my favourite like contemporary romances, and it teaches you very like valuable life lessons. It's really great, really well written. Right, next baby, I read 5 Survive, again Holly Jackson. After the last book, I wanted to give her a bit of a chance again. I tried the audiobook for this, but it isn't as well done as the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series. It's also a different narrator. Isn't that great? Very weird voice, in my opinion. So I read this, I ended up reading the rest, and it is about 6 friends who go on a holiday in a camper together, and in the middle of the street they get attacked by a sniper and have to survive the next 8 hours. So it's kind of a horror thriller. It's well done. It definitely really keeps you on your toes. I did see what the end was. Like, I saw the ending coming. making some decisions and why she was being like weird. I don't know, I don't have a better way to describe it. Yeah, so I did enjoy reading it. It was like a short-lived fun, you know, so I'll give it a good time, but forgettable. Like almost a for the right reader thing, but I did enjoy it, you know, so I give it good time but forgettable. Okie dokie, next I'll just pull these together because we don't have that much time anymore. I've been babbling for so long. So this is James Patterson's The Woman's Murder Club series. These are standalone novels in a connected series, which is about the Women's Murder Club. They are four friends, a lawyer, a detective, a journalist, and a pathologist, and they work together to solve crimes. The main character, like the main storyteller in the books, is the police woman, Lindsay. Like her view is kind of like the main one, and I can't even tell you anymore what the individual books are about. So again, it's the 21st and the 22nd book. I've read all previous ones, but I can barely remember what they're about either. I love reading these books. They're, again, really those cozy mystery books, cozy crime, more like mystery. I really like the social interactions between the five women. But yeah, it's kind of like a quick fix. I fly through these books. Usually takes me a day or two to read them. Yeah, they're good. They're fun, but they're very short-lived. Again, I don't even know what these books, like what stories they entail. So they're basically each a different crime, you know, each a different case, but it's always about the same people solving them. Alright, next on the list is Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. This book follows a rich girl named Magnolia Parks who has a very, 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 very unhealthy relationship, one-to relationship with this guy. And I gave it a 3-star rating on Goodreads. Now I feel like I might need to change this rating because the longer I think about it, the more I dislike the book. But I really wanted to like the book because I bought the full series. I bought all 4 books. I should stop doing that really, but I thought I was so intrigued by the books. I thought the like Gossip Girl setup was kind of nice. I love the covers, so I was really drawn in. But yeah, the writing is horrible, literally horrible. Yeah, it reads like it's a diary of a 12-year-old, and oh my god, it's so annoying. So Magnolia has like this knack for knowing story, it was kind of set up that something dramatic happened to him that introduced a huge rift that is between them and why their relationship is so toxic, but then it ends up doing like the biggest douchebag thing that could have been. Okay, please, I don't know, I was so annoyed. And then she makes such rushed and like uncharacteristic decisions at the end. Like, I was fuming. At the end of the chapter, she literally goes like, okay, like, I'm really over him, like, so much has happened, blah 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 blah. And then in the next chapter, I think I missed a chapter, maybe a book was missing a chapter or something, but next chapter she's like back with him, and I was like, what? Like, there's such a hole in those two decisions, like, what? Anyway, so I'll give it a meh. Okay, I did get the egg, but it wasn't that bad like the other ones. Okay, I don't know. I feel like I might at some point read book 2 and book 3, because book 2 is about someone else and book 3 is again about her. But I don't know yet. I really don't know. But next I read Caraval by Stephanie Garber. It's kind of like this mystical fantasy circus game thing that happens once a year. You can take part in. It's kind of like this huge magical circus game again. I don't know how to describe it. And the book is about two sisters, Scarlett and Tella, who want to take part in this game to flee from their abusive father. And yeah, it's just kind of like a lot about intrigues, it's a lot about the game. I don't know, I feel like it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's not going to be one of my favorite series ever, but I'd say I'm a big fan. Yeah, so big fan. It's very magical. I kind of could imagine the setup really well, which was kind of cool. It's kind of really a cozy book. Don't expect to get like the best writing and the best like plot hole free plot, because that's not kind of a Stephanie Garber thing. Okay, there's a lot of like plot holes, okay, in all of her books. But yeah, then I read A Legendary, which is the book 2. Book 1 was out of Scarlett's point of view. Book 2 is out of Tella's view. Again, I think I like Tella, the younger sister, actually, a little better than Scarlett. So, I really thoroughly enjoyed this book. Again, not a masterpiece of writing or story here, like actually story making, but I feel like the actual world building was done so well. It's so fairy tale-esque, it's so cozy and whimsical, and there's a lot of magic and like love. It's not spicy at all. It's YA, I believe. At least it should be YA, because these characters are like 16, which is the weirdest thing. I hate when authors do that. This has nothing to do with the actual story, and it can't like said once that is 16 or something, and it ruins the book for me, because I'm just like, no way, they're not acting like that. Anyway, I also read the last and third book in this series, which is a finale. Again, great book. This is out of both of their puffs or POVs. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the series. Again, it's not for everyone, I feel, because really don't expect like the most best thought out writing, but if you're in for like a whimsical world, for lovable characters, for like a nice story to follow without thinking too much about like tiny plot holes and stuff, you might be right with this book, okay? Because there are some like things left unsaid. The ending feels a bit rushed and stuff, but I've read the next series from Stephanie Garber as well, and it kind of feels like a thing with her, so I feel like you just need to go in expecting that. Okay. Alright, then the next book I read was, I always need to find the pictures for it, because my computer completely said, like, I love this series. Okay, I am obsessed with the life story of Evangeline and Jax. Big fan. Like, literally love it. Book 2 was probably my favourite. I'll get to that in a second. But again, it's really whimsical, really cute, really lovey story. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll give it a big fan. Just because it wasn't like, again, whimsical, amazing writing, but not on the level of like some big authors, you know, it's not that well thought out. And again, lots of story plot holes, which even more so in this book, okay? But I didn't continue the series immediately. I read the new release, Checkmate by Ellie Hazelwood. It is her first YA book, and it is about chess. So, this girl beats the current world champion in a charity tournament, and then kind of from there on starts the romance, and she's to go back into chess, even though she has some past trauma with it. Now, this is probably my least favourite Ellie Hazelwood book. It is still a good book, but I found her to be the weakest character in the girls, in the previous girl characters, because she doesn't actually has any character development till the very last few pages, okay, and it felt very forced. And then the kind of overall theme, I said this before, Ellie Hazelwood in her actual big books, not in the novellas, always talks about some like political or societal problems, okay? In The Love Hypothesis, it's kind of about sexism against women in STEM. In Love and the Brain, it's kind of like a mixture of it all and of like mental health issues. Same with Love Theoretically. Love Theoretically is more so focused on mental health issues, but Checkmate has a like a feminist underlying thing, like message it wants to give you about women in chess, and that about this study that women would be equally as good in chess if they don't know they're playing a man, but men are kind of like oppressing women in chess. Whatever, I didn't 100% understand it, but what kind of made me upset, it wasn't the actual main character exploring or talking about these issues. It was also always a outside opinion, or like it was either like another character like mentioning it, or like a heading on a chapter like mentioning it, like a little, you know, not footnote, but you know, those little notes that are under chapters and stuff, something like that. It wasn't actually Mallory, the main character, exploring or even facing these you know, this important message that's trying to be relayed in his book, which I thought was kind of like upsetting, you know, kind of missed the point for me. Yeah, I found it to be slightly the weakest. The story is a little unbelievable. If you're into chess, I know very little about chess, and I found it very unbelieving. So okay, I had a good time with it, but I don't think it's even enough to be in my big fan category. It's, again, kind of the weakest for me. It kind of missed the point for me. Alright, next I read Iron Flame by Miss Rebecca Yarros again. So again, this book has a second book syndrome. It's kind of out of the setting the first book was in. It's a lot slower. It needs to introduce so much more world. It needs to introduce so much more characters, and it goes a lot more into politics of the world. Okay, it is really going into setting up the third book and the fourth book and the fifth book, because it is like 5 planned books, I believe. However, I personally really enjoyed it. My So to me, it was very equal to Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing was more adrenaline inducing, it was more like go, 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 go. While Iron Flame does a lot more of like whole world building, introducing more characters, introducing issues between the characters, like making the love story from the beginning a bit more unstable, stuff like that. I completely understand that doesn't make it everyone's favourite. A lot of people were upset about this book. However, I personally, for me, enjoyed it. I loved this book. I loved this series. I think the writing is done really well. It's still kept up with these like really adrenaline-inducing, like scary parts that you're like that are building up, like these peaks of the storytelling. They're kind of like repeated, but not like repetitive, if you know what I mean. They come at random, but they're really good. I really enjoy them. This time, like a lot of these like attacks and like, you know, scary life-threatening situations were kind of like more dragged out and stuff, and I really enjoyed it. I also really liked the character development and like seeing the world building. I'm a big fan of world building in general. I just really like getting into a story, understanding where the characters are coming from, understanding their actions and why they're doing something. So for me personally, it was again one of my favorites that I read this year. Big chunker, but I read it quickly. I read it in 7 days, and I think it got more than 600 pages, so I'm quite happy with this. A big fan. I don't know, I will definitely continue the series. I'm very excited about it. I think it's coming out late this year, if at all, so my heart's bleeding. But yeah, big fan. The dragons, amazing. The banter, good, great. You know, I feel like it has everything, you know, great characters, strong as female main lead, male, female lead, whatever. However, I will say one thing. Book one was kind of like, really going into her, like, disability rap, which kind of lost its footing in the second book. It wasn't kind of mentioned as often, and it kind of almost felt like it was like, you know, not happening anymore. I don't know, you know, it's nothing you magically heal from. And while it was still mentioned, it just kind of like focused more on the background. But again, I think it's also a bit of like natural character progression, so I was fine with it. Anyway, next book. I kind of feel like I have so many books that I was like, and I've been talking for so long. Anyway, next I read, or listened to actually, How to Survive Your Murder by Danielle Valentine. This was shortly before Halloween, and I was really in the spooky, like, horror mood. Now, this is about a girl who witnesses the murder on her sister, and she gets a chance to go back in time and relive the situation again, and tries to save her sister and find out who the actual killer is. Now, oh god, okay, where do I start? Not my actual favourite book. It's fun. I'll give it For the Right Reader. I'll try to make this short, but it's got a bit of a knack for nostalgic slasher movies, and that gets mentioned a lot. The main character is a big fan of slasher movies, and especially a big fan of Final Girls, the girls who last standing in horror movies. And oh my god, it's so atrocious. Every 2 seconds she mentions something about Final Girls, okay? Take a shot every time the Final Girls are mentioned in this book, and you'll be blackout drunk at the end of this, okay? Way too much. Especially because the main character runs around like a headless chicken the entire night. It drove me a bit insane because she didn't do nothing, okay? Like, she's trying to, like, it's like a slasher horror thriller thing, you know? And she's trying to solve this murder while you're running from a killer, and it's absolutely going over my head. She was literally running around like she's goo-goo, and I literally knew who the killer was like 5 minutes in. I don't know if it's a mistake from the author supposed to be the actual murder victim, okay? And then there's the guy. There's the 4 people she sees it being at the scene, okay? And then she redoes the night. And the girl who didn't get killed in the first time then gets killed, okay? So what do we know? Not the murder, okay? And then the whole thing why she goes back in time, and it's kind of like very heavily hinted at by the person who sends her back in time, is that the guy they thought was the murderer is not the murderer. So from 4 people, they've confirmed no on the side of the murder, and she again was at the murder, you know. We know 2 people didn't do it. Our female character, main character, obviously also knows they didn't do it, so who is left? Who's left? And to me that was just so obvious from the get-go. I don't know, it was so annoying. Yeah. So to me, for the right reader, I think if you're really into old school slasher movies and really enjoy that scene, it could be nicer for you. Not for me though. Alright, next. Next, I read Killjoy by Harley Jackson. It is a super short novel about the pre-story to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. She's like Pip is at a murder mystery game with her friends. It's trying to solve the murder on that murder mystery. Overall, it's not terrible, but it just missed the depth what A Good Girl's Guide to Murder had. It missed like the fun of it, and to be honest, Pip was kind of an annoying player in that game. I've done some murder mystery nights before, and if my friend would act like that, I'd truly kick them out. It would annoy the absolute shit out of me, okay? So I kind of find it very despicable in this book, okay? So I'll give it a meh, because it's really weak. I don't know, it didn't have the same like cozy vibe the previous ones had. It didn't really show her like talent or anything. It just made it a bit unlikable to me. But continuing, I finally had time to continue Once Upon a Broken Heart. So I read The Ballad of Never After. Again, big fan. It's such a cute story, and I feel like it really progressed in this book in a direction I actually didn't really see coming, you know. So yeah, really liked it. Then I immediately read the newest release and the 3rd and final book in the series, which is A Curse for True Love. Now, this book is sadly a double point of view, and it is really weird who's like the other person's point of view. It's really random and really like weirdly chosen. I don't particularly understand why we are getting this points of like this person's point of view. It was really useless to me. I didn't really enjoy it. I almost skimmed over that person's point of view and only focused on Evangeline's point of view. So I thought that was kind of weird. And this book's gotten a lot of backlash because it does feel a bit rushed. It doesn't truly give the big happy ending we all deserve. Evangeline loses her memory in the beginning of the book, and so it kind of retells the entire first 2 books, which kind of doesn't leave a lot of space for the rest of the story to evolve in the book. I don't know, there was like nothing new, you know, it was just sort of repeating the old story and then coming to a conclusion to that. So it wasn't her best work. I still did enjoy reading it. There are so many plot holes in this book, okay? Where is her sister? What the flip is with these apples, okay? Like, I literally wrote a list at some point because I was like, can someone like tell me what's happening? I need to remember if this gets resolved. Like, what happened to Luke? Like, stuff like that is so weird. Where was I? My doorbell rang. Yeah, I don't know, but I was this book. Still, I had a good time. I'm really happy I finished it. One annoying thing is it has alternate endings. Okay, it's like extra ending chapters that aren't solved in every book, and that's my biggest author ache. Okay, cash grab ache. Alright, but next, coming up to Christmas, I listened to the Christmas meta game by Alexandra Benedict. I listened to it on Audible, and it is about this Christmas game at a big mansion where basically the whole fam comes together and they need to solve like mysteries. So yeah, it's like Christmassy murder mystery, whatever. So first of all, the mystery aspect itself kind of got lost. These people were killing each other for like absolutely nothing. At the end, I really didn't understand why people were murdered at all. And what I always find funny in these books, like absolutely hilarious, is how absolutely unfazed some people are by their legit family members getting slaughtered one after the other at a little Christmas get together, and no one is fucking freaking out. And it's like, why? It makes no sense to me. But it was leading up to Christmas. I was listening to it to work. I did have a good time. I can't deny it. I did listen to the whole like 12-hour audiobook because I did want to know who wins the house. Okay, I did want to know. So yeah, almost at the end of the year. Okay, next I read Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. Oh my god, it is a hockey romance between Anastasia, who's a figure skater, and God, I forgot this name, Nate, I'm sorry, who is a hockey player. And oh my god, it's so good. I love it. I love Anastasia, I love Nate. Nate again, book, boyfriend, bestie, 10 out of 10. Oh, what Hannah Grace does so well is writing the perfect boyfriends. Like, oh my god, he's so mentally stable, mentally aware, like perfect man. Like, what? Amazing. Okay, like, oh, a dream. He like fully supports Anastasia in like everything she does. He like helps her through her like eating disorder and stuff. Like peak boyfriend behavior. Okay, only green flags inside. Okay, so good. He like helps her like going to her therapy sessions and stuff. Oh, we love her. Mental health aware king. Okay, oh my god, big fan. Anyway, I did really enjoy this story. It's like a 400-page book, but I loved every single second of it. Okay, it's long for a romance, but it is absolutely worth it. I would have read 100,000 more pages from these two. Big fan. I actually started Wildfire, but I'm counting that towards next year, so we're not getting that today. And then last, this is a big fat DNF from me. I listened, big mistake, I listened to Twisted Love by Anna Huang. Oh god. Please, people, help. I listened to this, okay, and this book's dual path, one's out of her side and one's out of his side. And I was like at work, okay, for the main part of this book, so I had this man with his raspy little voice, you know, talking this cringy ass shit in my like ears, okay. I was so embarrassed. I had to constantly pause this, okay. I constantly was trying to make sure that my phone wasn't weirdly going on loud, so that I like was sure that no one could hear this bullshit I was listening to. It was, oh my god, okay, I don't even know how the people are called this book's following. But I hate it. I DNF'd it like 70%. I just could not listen to this anymore. Like, help. So essentially it's about this girl and this guy, and the guy is like the best friend of her brother, and when the brother leaves for a year abroad, he asks his friend so mad. Like, people, I hope none of you think this is a cute romance story, because it's really not. Like, this is the biggest red flag in a man I have ever seen. Like, this potato has no more character than constantly saying he's rich and broody. Okay, no one thinks this about him, but it's just like his own opinion. It's man with egos. Yeah, anyway, he's supposed to be this like rich, grumpy person, but he has like zero personality. He doesn't like one thing. Okay, we don't learn about a single thing he enjoys or he loves doing. Like, nothing. Same for like, they completely bland characters. No personality, like nothing to fall in love with. And then it's a lot of spice, okay, but like unnecessary, and like I enjoy a good spice scene, okay, but like it was so weird, it was so awkward. I like did not like the sex scenes, okay. He is so weird. Like, I don't know, like he calls her like good girl and stuff, and like his sunshine, and no, I hated it. There is this scene, and after that I like literally I was like, what the heck, you know, where they're not even together or anything yet, okay, and she takes photos in sexy clothes, okay, nothing bad for her photographer friend with him, and he storms into her house and like threatens the guy and deletes her photos, even though she says it's okay and stuff, and she doesn't want that. He's a control of us. Red flag, red flag, red flag. If any guy does that to you, please walk the fuck out of there, because that is controlling us behavior. And why, like, I really don't understand, why do we write books about these toxic red flag men trying to sell this as like a romance? It's really absolutely beyond me. It's not sexy, it's not hot to have controlling as a man who think women are worthless, and like he literally the whole time, you know, he literally thinks something bad's gonna happen to her, like because of that. Like, what? Like, he's taking away her free will. He thinks like women can't do anything, but like literally yuck ass man. I don't know what to do with that. I beg all of you girls. This is not the boyfriend you want, okay? Not the man you want in your life. Get yourself a Nate from Icebreaker. That's better, okay? But this bullshit, oh hell nah. I don't know. I literally have no idea how these books are so famous and so beloved by TikTok, because it's literally like a prime example of a toxic relationship. If one of my friends would get a boyfriend like that, I'd be like, oh god damn, how do I get my girl out of this toxic relationship? So like, I don't know what's going on. What's with your brains? Y'all are way too focused on the smut scenes, okay? Like, what is going on? Okay, no, I got the egg. It was horrific. I really didn't enjoy it. Not my favorite book. But yeah, my friends, that kind of concludes my year of reading. I initially wanted to add some of the books I started but never finished, but I think this video is already way too long, so I will leave it at that. All in all, I guess you can say I've had a pretty good reading year. You can see I got a lot of books that I did actually really enjoy reading. I will continue to read a lot of books in the new year. This is my TBR behind me. Oh, you're so hilarious. So I read 46 books this year, right? And I got a email the other day from the bookstore I buy most of my books from, that I bought 50 books this year. And the majority of these books I bought and haven't read yet, because these books are usually books I already bought, you know, like, a lot of them are all my e-reader and stuff. So I basically